Yeah.
Welcome to the Rhinebeck Scoop. I'm your host, Jennifer C. As you guys know, this show is produced by me, Matty Rosenberg, and Jen Hammoud, and they will be joining me next episode. For today, we have a very special guest who comes to spread some Hudson Valley holiday food joy. Eryn Veronesi, is that the correct pronunciation?
Yep.
I did it. Yay. Eryn Veronesi is a social media genius behind the wonderful Instagram page, Hudson Valley Eats. This page serves as your ultimate guide to Hudson Valley local eats and hidden gems. Welcome, Eryn.
Thanks for having me.
Well, thank you for being here. I'm so excited. So tell us a little bit about yourself and why did you start Hudson Valley Eats?
You don't have to say underscore this time.
Okay, I won't.
So I've worked in marketing my entire career, and I always like to travel and do research and try new things. And everyone was always asking me, my friends and family, where should I go? What do you recommend? And so I'm born and raised in the Hudson Valley and always loved the food scene and trying new places. And so being able to have a creative outlet back in 2020, I thought it would be a good idea to start the page, and here we are.
Here we are. And I have to say, I forgot to point out, hopefully we're going to capture some video today and I'm going to make it into reels and tag you and all that. And if we do, we are wearing our ugly Christmas sweaters. And Eryn looks extremely beautiful in her Christmas tree sweater. And it's actually the Grinch. I don't know if you can see him, but it's actually the Grinch and it says naughty. So you guys are missing out if you're not seeing video. You have a beautiful blonde and you have a beautiful brunette wearing Christmas sweaters. There you go. So tell me a little bit about Hudson Valley Eats. Why do you love doing it so much?
I really think it stems from my love of where we live, being able to grow up here and being able to see how much of a special place it is. I think sometimes, it's gotten better and better, but being able to really showcase and show people where to go and what to be able to see or try, it's really easy to miss a lot of places. And when you're in New York City, everything's at your fingertips and so close together. When you are up here, you might have to travel a little bit more, but we still have so many great places to stop and really love being able to share that with others.
Absolutely. And you said you grew up in the Hudson Valley. Where did you grow up?
Yep. So I am in Highland, New York. So right in between New Paltz and Poughkeepsie.
You said it changed throughout the years. And you said it got better. So what got better?
More and more, at least from what I see, and maybe it's the emergence of social media and being able to have more information at your fingertips, that certainly helped, but really being able to have people come here as a destination, whether it's for a weekend, for the day, for a vacation, and them complimenting the area and saying, wow, I would have never thought this. And obviously we have our proximity to New York City, which is some of the best food in the entire world. I also feel like we're very grateful that we have the Culinary Institute in our backyard. And so we are able to obviously, I've been there before and would always recommend people stop there because they have great places to eat. And it's very cool to see the students in their training programs serving you and making the food and things like that. But then also, we are very lucky to have those that fall in love with the area and stay. And there's so many chefs that have opened up restaurants for us to enjoy as well.
That's what we love in Rhinebeck. And we are so lucky to have CIA next to us. My new neighbors are from CIA. They're professors. And I still am trying to get an invitation for dinner. They said it was going to happen and it hasn't happened yet, but I'm still going to try. I'm not going to give up. That is my 2025 resolution, is to have dinner over there once. I mean, they have to cook for me, right? They absolutely have to. So you have to take advantage of that. Have you encountered any surprises along the way of doing Hudson Valley Eats?
I think overall it's really positive. And one of the best things about doing what I do is getting to meet people and get to hear people's stories and why did they start their restaurant? Why are they focused on this type of cuisine, whether it's a restaurant or even a pop-up, or it could be anything from amazing coffee or pizza to fine dining and everything in between. There's phenomenal chefs and people that specialize in all different types of foods, and it's a tough industry. I have never personally worked directly in the industry, but I have some respect for all of those that have, and it's a hustle, it's a grind, and if I can help have someone go to a restaurant and promote that and help a small business, that's makes me super happy and feel good about what I'm doing and serving my piece.
How do you feel about everything that's happened with COVID, right? Restaurants were very thriving before COVID. We had COVID hit. And I feel like, I mean, I don't want to say any names, but in fact, not in Rhinebeck, somewhere else, but one of my favorite cafes, they can't find anyone to work now. I'll go there and it'll just be a sign on the door. Sorry, we're closed. We don't have, so maybe they're open, maybe they're not. How do you feel about all that going on with the lack of staff?
There's so much uncertainty. I think that staffing issues are absolutely a problem. There's been some blessings within that all. I think there's been some trends due to COVID that have become more common that maybe we would have never been able to do before. So that's great. Like, I always recommend being able to have to-go alcohol. So I hope that stays around for the
Oh, we love the to-go alcohol.
Exactly. So, I mean, that's a small piece, not to make a joke of it, but something that I hope stays forever. And I really admire all of the small business owners and restaurants that are hustling every day and having to have changes in staffing and food costs and, try to make a living off of that. So it definitely hasn't been easy, and there's so many changes that happen. And I think social media also becomes a huge part of that as well, because being able to promote your restaurant, what are you offering? What are your specials tonight? It's that constant grind and staying in front of people. And great, you have this place. How do you get people in the door, and how do you have them continue to come? Doesn't stop just after one post or one ad or, one other thing that you might do, but it needs to constantly keep going. So.
Yeah, that's some good points. And I think too, like when you go to an airport and you order something and you do it on an iPad, and then all the server has to do is just deliver it to you. I'm just curious to know, our restaurants, I don't know if you know this, but are they talking about using more technology like that for lack of staff, or they're just not talking about that?
Mm-hmm. You definitely see it in the chain restaurants all day long, that they're taking advantage of that. I've seen it less throughout restaurants in that fashion, but you see more and more people using technology in general. So POS systems being on Uber Eats and DoorDash. So how can you still service people even if they don't want to come to your restaurant, or are they within a certain area? So being able to embrace technology in all of its forms, it definitely seems that things are trending in that direction from what I can see.
Okay, interesting. And I love that you said you advise restaurants to keep the to-go alcohol. That's really funny, because I remember during the pandemic, I don't drink actually, but my husband does. So I would pick him up these, I think they were margaritas. I can't remember now, but they were from Gigi's in Rhinebeck. And I remember just putting them in my car, and they were huge. And I was like, shit, this is an open container in my car and no one gives a fuck. Because it's a pandemic and we have so many things going on. I kind of want to, obviously we want to promote, safe driving and all that. But besides that, it's a trend. You don't drink it while you're driving, but you can bring it home. So I like that too.
Well, and I think that's how I fell in love with my husband, actually. We met during the pandemic. And
I thought you were going to
bring me to go margaritas. Maybe that was the key to my heart.
Oh my God, that is a great story. That is a great story. You recently visited Paris and London. Ooh, how was it and what did you eat?
It was amazing, and I tried to eat everything.
Oh, I like that.
So
I like that.
There were so many amazing places that me and my husband, we went to. And first we were in Paris for 4 days. So we stayed in Montmartre and started off. One of the things that I love to do when I go to cities is do a food tour. So we did one in Paris, and I'd been a few times before, but he hadn't. So it's always great to try a local restaurants and what maybe a local might point out or what you might see. I do not speak French either, so I'm a little more leery of just walking into somewhere blind. Being able to have someone help you through that and give you recommendations. I always like to do that on the first day of my trip, because then I can ask the guide, where else do you recommend we go? We had everything from hot chocolate and these cream puffs, which I will dream of forever. Escargot, chicken, pastries, bread and butter. I mean, we went to the local markets. There's just so much amazing food there. And I like to try to do as much research as possible before we go and map out all my routes so I can make the most of it.
We know the way to your heart. It's margaritas and cream puffs. We know that now. Yeah. Okay, good.
That's all it takes.
I love that.
Yeah. And it's interesting too. London, I see a lot of hate for London and their food scene, actually. And so many people talk about how they don't love the food there, but I think it's great. I mean, we had our Sunday roasts and afternoon tea and fish and chips. And we actually ended up going on an Indian food tour while we're there because they have such a large Indian population. And we actually have some great Indian restaurants in the Hudson Valley, but I feel like I really wanted to be able to like immerse myself in that culture and try to understand more about the spices and the different flavor profiles together. And it was a really cool night where we were able to have an Indian food tour, and we tried like 6 different restaurants while we were there and loved it.
That sounds so good. I love Indian food. Absolutely. I used to go to Paris and London all the time because of work. And I have to say, I like the food in Paris. I love the food in Paris. It's my vibe. London.
Right?
I'm not so into the fried food. And then I thought the Indian food in London, I have to say it, I guess I was going the wrong places, but I thought it was very mild and mediocre. But I may have been going to the wrong place. I mean, I would return to the same 2 restaurants, which probably just, I could have explored and gone out. So you found the Indian food in London pretty good?
Yeah, I thought it was great.
Oh, okay. Good to know. When I go back, I'll try it again.
Yeah. Text me and I'll send you where we went at least.
Please do. And do you cook? I meant to ask you that.
I try. I much rather go out to eat.
You're like me. You're the same. Exactly. When you come up to Rhinebeck, we'll have to go out to eat together. That's fun. But I'm more a lunch girl. Like if you ask me out at 7 p.m., I'm probably going to say no, just because I don't like to eat that late. So if you're here for lunch, we should go out.
Let's plan a day.
Let's do it. Okay. So what's a holiday treat you look forward to every year in the Hudson Valley?
There's a few that come to mind. The first thing that I would think of is, for my entire life, my mom has loved Krause's chocolate. And I remember being
right here in Rhinebeck,
having chocolate peanut butter Santa Clauses as a kid in my stocking. And I will, every year, maybe it's nostalgia, always want them. I also love Alps chocolate too. So I think 1 or 2 of those, definitely getting my chocolate from them every year and incorporating that somehow is something that I always think of. I usually host Christmas Eve and Christmas morning, so there's some staples there, and I usually try to cater it from a local restaurant. Like I've done Rossi's before, Cosimo's before, Gadaletto's before, which is a fish place in New Paltz. They're all phenomenal. And this year I'm going to be ordering from my friends, 2 chefs that own the Divine Harvest. Not sure if you've heard of them before.
Where is that?
They're do a lot of private chef and catered events and different pop-ups in the area. They are phenomenal. We've had a few dinners at my house with friends, and they've come in, and every single time we've had a dinner with them, it's great. So I'm excited to have some of their food this year.
Well, I appreciate that you said Krause's, because I think Samuel Sweets takes, like Krause's is more the underdog because Samuel Sweets has the celebrity owners. Krause's is pretty good though. Whenever I get chocolate, okay, I want to say this diplomatically. Whenever I get chocolate, well, my husband likes it from Krause's. So yeah, I mean, Samuel Sweets is good too, but thank you for mentioning them because people don't know about them as much. What's a restaurant or food shop you enjoy in the Hudson Valley as well?
How much time do you have?
Do you have anything in the area, Rhinebeck, Red Hook, Kingston?
Yes. So a lot of people will reach out to me and send me a DM and ask me, well, where should I go out to eat? And what do you recommend? And I always start with, well, do you have any food allergies or food preferences? Where are you wanting to go? And what's your price range? Because depending on what your answer is to that, I could give you a whole list of recommendations just based on that. I think if we're talking Rhinebeck, there's such a great bunch of restaurants right in that area. One of my favorites is Pretty to Think So.
Mm-hmm.
Love going there for a nice dinner. The food is phenomenal. Love Bia. Love cinnamon. Bread Alone, I had their pies for Thanksgiving this year, and they were so good. And then if I'm thinking about the Kingston area, that has been a really great area that I think continues to thrive from a food perspective. I almost feel like we have little pockets, depending on which part of Kingston you're in, that have just really been phenomenal. So everything from Eliza Bistro, I love Rough Draft, First Capital Poke Bowls. One place that I became semi-obsessed with this fall was Rolling Cones in Kingston, which was an ice cream pop-up that was right near the Kingston Standard Brewery. I could not get there enough because the ice cream was so good. Going into Saugerties, like Salt and Fire, Annarella in Saugerties, they're phenomenal.
Yeah, those are good recommendations. They're really solid. And you said Pretty to Think So, which is really interesting because I did a review of them probably a couple months ago. I had never been, and they're pretty good, have a lot of gluten-free options, which I really appreciate. So I appreciate that. Cinnamon. Just ate a cinnamon yesterday, actually. So cinnamon's really good. And Bread Alone, I did not know that about their pies. That's really good to know. If I ever have a holiday thing where I need a pie, I had no idea. So thank you. That is very helpful for the holidays. I want to change the tune a little bit here, and I want to play a game of Chef Holiday Marry Fuck Kill. You ready for this?
We'll see.
Now, do you know the rules to this game?
I think so.
Yeah. So I give you 3 options, and then you have to pick one for one option. So let's see if you know these people first. Okay. Number 1, Gordon Ramsay.
Yes.
Okay. Number 2, Anthony Bourdain, Rises from the Dead. Do you know who he is? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good. And then number 3 is Santa Claus.
Wow.
So, okay, let's just do this again. Gordon Ramsay, Anthony Bourdain, and Santa Claus. Who would you marry? Who would you fuck? Who would you kill?
Whew. I feel like I have to kill Gordon Ramsay.
Oh, why?
'Cause
he's British?
Maybe. Anthony Bourdain is a favorite. I'd want to marry him, but I don't know how well that would go. So I guess I would F him and marry Santa.
Okay, so let's start out with marry. I'd probably marry Anthony Bourdain because
travel and food would be phenomenal.
He's like he was temperamental as hell. But maybe that was more him being a chef. So maybe if we were married, he would be better. I don't know anything about his personal life. But yeah, the food and the travel, that's pretty good. And the fact if he is an a-hole, then he's never home. So there's that too. So I'm going to go with, and he has money. So money is always number 1 with me. So go marry Anthony Bourdain. Let's see. Who would I F? Gordon Ramsay I would F Santa Claus. Because no one would F Santa Claus.
You got to wear that shirt then.
I know. I've got to wear the shirt and the Hello Kitty headband I have on too. Absolutely. So I figured that's the unsafe choice. So I'm going to go with that. So then oh, I'm killing Gordon Ramsay, but I don't like that because I do really like Gordon Ramsay. That was a tough one for me. Wow. But since Bourdain has passed and maybe I could get his money after death, we'll just go with Bourdain Mary. So that was a bit of a messy fuck kill, but I kind of liked it. Okay, there we go.
I still like you, Gordon Ramsay, though.
I know. I actually still really like, I don't watch a lot of cooking shows, but I watched, is it Hell's Kitchen he does? Where he just screams at everyone and swears at everyone. I was sick and I was in bed for a really long time and I just loved watching him scream and swear at everyone. It was so therapeutic for me and I can't tell you why, but I don't know.
Well,
all
that's
right.
why I had to kill him because fun to watch, not to be around.
Not to be around. But I know people who've worked for him and said he's not like that. Like on camera, he's like that, but he's actually a very nice person. So who knows? All right. So let's talk about, we do our sweet and sour of the moment here. We're going to start with our sour first. So we end with our sweet. What is your sour of the moment, Eryn?
The amount of change and like uncertainty in the world, and it like keeps me up at night of all the different things going on and how that goes. And I think for me, sweet is just being so appreciative for my friends and family and the connection with other people. And like I mentioned earlier, how it's been so nice to meet so many people while doing what I've been doing, and just hope that continues, and love to hear people's stories and get to know people better.
For me, I would say my sour of the moment is, well, we had to cancel the original Bake Off. That's my sour of the moment because everything kept getting out of my hands. And there was an unfortunate circumstance where I had to cancel, which is fine. And it's taught me a lot of things. I think next year, Eryn, I'm just going to do a party with alcohol and just invite people and that's it. And just call it a day.
There you go. Well, we should always rain check the Bake Off and do that another time.
I know we should. It's just what I learned. And this is kind of a sour is the people I asked who were actual bakers were kind of, I say this with love, but they were taking it way too seriously and they kind of got scared. So I was a little surprised by that, where I was just going to fucking bake some brownies and call it a day. Like, who cares? You know what I mean? But they were taking it pretty seriously. So I didn't realize that people would take it so seriously. And yeah, and then it's hard to organize people during the holidays on a Friday afternoon when the answers I kept getting, and these were people I know, and I know they weren't lying to me. They're like, dude, my family's coming into town. I'm going out of town, that type of thing. So I think you're right. If I were to do it, maybe I would do it more in spring or something like that, because this was a hard time of year to organize as well. You know, Bake Off postponed. We may do it another time, but that's okay. That's good. You're still going to be my judge, right? You were the surprise guest judge.
Absolutely.
Okay, you're still going to be, okay, cool. Awesome. And then my sweet of the moment. Ooh, I have to think about this one. My sweet of the moment is, I think that I got to wear my Christmas sweater today. I was very excited. To wear my Christmas sweater, very excited to wear my Hello Kitty headband. I think both of us look extremely cute. So that is my sweet of the moment. And I got to meet you. Finally, we talked on the phone and then I got to meet you and I have a new friend. So that makes me excited. So let's talk about Hudson Valley Eats. So tell everyone where to find you.
I am on Instagram at Hudson_Valley_Eats. And I also have recently gotten on TikTok, same handle. So if you want to check me out there, there's a lot of cross content across both platforms, but see a lot of opportunity on the TikTok side and want to connect with people there as well. So hope to see you there.
Do you like TikTok?
I like getting lost in TikTok and looking up and it be 2 hours later and wondering what the F happened.
Well, it's funny because my husband, he likes Instagram Reels a lot. He's like a big scroller of Instagram Reels. And I forbid him from TikTok. He's not allowed to go on because we will not have money. Nothing will be accomplished in the day if that man gets on TikTok. So yeah, I'm not on it. I'm scared to go on it. To leave me feedback, call and leave a voicemail at 845-307-7446, or you can email me at comments@radiofreerhinecliff.org. Follow me on Instagram, guys, at Free Spirit Podcast. I'm changing my Instagram page over completely, which has been an interesting experience, so you're going to see a lot of changes, but a lot of fun, spicy changes. So I'm really excited. See you next week, Tuesday, December 17th, 2024, for our final episode of the year. And thank you so much for coming. You're awesome.
Thanks. Love you, RBK.
Yeah.